what it was about this snake, but you could feel the energy change. Like, they were all snakes, but the snake looked mean, you know? Like, it looked like it hated life. There was something about it. Like the snake looked like it had a mortgage. Because it looked at us, and then it fixed its eyes on the charmer. And he was really cool and calm. He didn't even look at the snake. He addressed us. He was like, ladies and gentlemen, they say the cobra can strike faster than a man can blink. But can a man move faster than the snake can think? And I'm like, ooh. I don't know what that means, but I'm in. Because it sounds like a dumb Instagram quote, but I'm in. And this guy had the most amazing trick. What he did was, he got right up close to the snake, right? And he'd put his hands behind his back. And then he would make it seem like he was going to kiss the snake. And the snake would be no further than like a foot from his face. And then he would make this sound, like a kissing sound. And as he made the sound, the snake would try to bite him, and then he'd move out of the way. I've never seen anything like it. So he leaned in, and he's like, come on, snake. Too slow, Snakey. Try again. No love for you, my friend. Come on, Snakey. And all of us are enthralled. Every single one of us. No one's making a sound, no one's moving. And he does it over and over again. And then, to take it to the next level, he closes his eyes, pouts his lips. And I guess at this point, the snake was probably like, oh, I think I figured this out. This dude's gonna make the sound, and then he's gonna move. But if I bite before the sound, I can change everyone's lives. Because that's exactly what the snake does. The guy closes his eyes, pouts his lips. Before he can make the sound, the snake strikes him, pa, bam, hits him on the mouth, right? Cuts his lip open, blood goes spraying everywhere. Now, that should be the end of the story. That should be the craziest part of the story. No, this is the middle. The snake hits him on the mouth, the blood goes spraying. This guy jumps back and then acts like he didn't just get bitten by a snake. Which makes us think we're crazy, because we all saw it. Everyone in the audience was like, oh, and then he jumps back, and he just like shakes it off. You know what he did? He did that thing, you know that thing that people do where like you get their hand jammed in a car door or something? Like, you know, like it slams and it'll be like, and then people will just be like, He did that, but with a snake. So the snake hits him, the blood sprays, and he jumps back and he's like, Don't worry, we're fine. Don't worry. Don't worry, everybody, we're fine. Relax, relax, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. But we weren't fine. You know how we know this? Because his face started melting on the one side, right? So his face starts melting, his lips starts turning blue, and he goes back to do his kiss trick again, but he can't even stand, and then he looks at the snake looks at him, and he's like, okay, show is done, good night, everybody, goodbye, good night. He runs off. And all of us are just like, what the hell just happened, right? He runs off. I have questions in my head. I'm like, is he gonna be okay? Do we get our money back? How does this work? And then we turn back and we realize he's forgotten his snake. And you know what the worst thing was? Is it seemed like the snake realized the same thing at the same time. Because the snake also watched him leave. And then as we turned back, the snake was also like, oh, shit. And so now, it's just us and the snake. And mind you, there's no barrier, right? There's no concrete, there's no glass, there's nothing. It's an authentic Balinese experience. So we're all staring at the snake is staring at us. And then one genius decided now would be the perfect time to get an Instagram picture. And I don't know if it was the camera, the sound, or the flash. All I heard was click, and the snake jumped up and was like, and we were all like, ah! And then it was chaos. Pandemonium ensued. Now, don't forget, I was at the back, so I just jumped over. I was like, haha, being black saved me. I was out. Panic ensued. Everyone jumps up. People are trying to scramble, like trampling over each other. The French guy was my favorite because he jumps up and he's like, Sacre bleu! Le serpent! Le serpent! Allez, Jean Pierre, allez! And he's pushing the people and he's running. He's like, allez, Jean Pierre, Jean Pierre! And when he turns, his son hasn't moved, right? So little Jean Pierre is planted to the spot, terrified. And you see his face, he's like, Papa! 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 He's like, Jean Pierre, allez, Jean Pierre, allez, mon ami! He's like, Papa! Papa! And so the dad realizes he's got to go back in and save his kid, right? But now this is one of those moments where I think you can see the fundamental difference between mothers and fathers, right? Because a mother would run in without thinking and she'd be like, I will die for my child. Strike me now, snake. Right? That's moms. Dads will also save their kid, but in the back of their head, you know the dad is thinking, yo, I'm going to save my kid, but I don't want to die. I mean, I don't want to die because this dumbass didn't know to run when his dad was running. I mean, there's a snake, and I start running. Why wouldn't you run at the same time? Now I gotta die for your dumb ass, which makes no sense, because I can make another one of you. You can't make another one of me. I should just make you a brother and we can mourn your dumb ass death together. I don't even know why we're doing this right now. I think that's what the dad was thinking, right? Because he didn't fully commit. Instead, he tried to sneak in behind his kid. And then he grabs the back of his hoodie and yanks him to safety. So now little Jean Pierre is choking in the ground. He's like, and he finally gets him to the side. And another snake charmer comes running out, grabs the snake, puts it in the sack, and finally, danger's averted. Everybody's safe. Everyone is safe, but terrified. Some people are crying, others are in shock. I'm standing on the side watching all of this. Little Jean Pierre's there with his dad. They're both in tears. He's like, désolé, mon ami. Désolé, Jean Pierre, désolé. And he's like, Papa, le trou de léger le poids de le joie. Le poids de... And I don't speak French, but I know this kid was like, you asshole, you left me. I'm gonna tell mom. And so I'm staring at them, and I guess they could feel that I was staring. So they both stopped at the same time, and they turned and looked at me, and I looked at them. And in that moment, I realized we're all human beings. We'll experience the same thing. We went through the same trauma. No matter what happened to us before, we're all human beings. Because they looked at me, and I could see in their eyes what they'd just experienced, what I'd experienced. And in that pause, I bent down, I got real close to them, and I was like, snake. Oh. That's how racism starts. But you know what? It was worth it. Yeah. Out in Indonesia. Yeah. If you've never been, make a plan and get out there. It's an amazing place. I went out with some of my friends, learned a few things about myself as a person. Most important thing I learned is somebody needs to invent a TripAdvisor specifically for black people, right? No, because just generally I find that what white people want to do on vacation is what black people are trying to escape. And not in a bad way, it's just like we want different things out of life, you know? Like my white friends are always inviting me camping, for instance, always. Like with enthusiasm, we're all like, Trevor, you want to go camping, dude? I'm like, why? Why? It's like, dude, what do you mean why? It's amazing. You're kidding me? It's like no water, no electricity, you know? It's just like us in the great outdoors. You gotta take a dump in the hole in the floor or something, dude. I'm like, yeah, that was my life. That was me growing up. You know how hard I worked to never go camping again? Every day I wake up in my bed and I'm like, thank God I'm not camping. If my family saw pictures of me camping, they would be devastated. My grandmother saw me out in the woods. She'd be like, oh, what happened to Trevor? Oh, I thought you were successful. Oh, it must be the crack. I want to go camping. I don't even know what it is. I think it's just people, we have a connection, you know? I don't know, South Africans and Mexicans or something. People from shithole countries, we have this thing. I still can't believe the things Donald Trump says. He's such a... For me, Donald Trump is an emotional paradox. I'm not going to lie. You know, logically, I can process him. Emotionally, I struggle. On the one hand, I will admit, I wake up many days terrified at the notion that he's president of the most powerful nation in the world. But I also must admit, I wake up many days knowing he's going to make me laugh. Yeah, there's terror and there's joy, and I don't know how to feel. You know what it feels like sometimes? It feels like there's a giant asteroid headed towards the Earth, but it's shaped like a penis. Like, I think I'm going to die, but I know I'm going to laugh. You just look at everything that he does. The world we now live in because of him. Like, you realize we're living through history. You know, this will never happen in our lifetimes again. We're living through a time when we're all learning about the presidency at the same time as the president. That's never happened. How wild is that concept? You wake up every day reading the news, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that. And somewhere at that exact same moment, he's reading the same news going, wow, me too. And nobody knows where it's going to lead. Nobody knows what he's going to do. All we know is that he wants his wall. He wants his wall. Donald Trump wants his wall. He needs $25 billion the last time he asked. He needs it from American taxpayers because Mexico is smart. That fell apart real quick. I remember how confident he was at the rallies, people cheering for him. He was like, folks, we're going to build. We're going to build a wall, folks. Who's going to pay? Mexico. And Mexico was like, we ain't paying for shit, man. We might build it, but we're not going to pay for it, man. And I don't know if you've been following the journey of the wall, but it's probably the best comedy on TV, right? Because now they've started building prototypes of the wall at the border, right? Because Donald Trump said he wants them to test the wall first. I don't know how you do that. You know, it's like, try again. And because this is the prototypes, Donald Trump now has specifications for the wall. He now says he wants the wall to be made out of concrete, but he also needs the wall to be see-through, right? And the reason the president wants the wall to be see-through is because he said he's afraid that drug dealers from Mexico are going to shoot bags of drugs over the wall and it's going to hit Americans on the head as they walk by. So he needs the wall to be see-through so that Americans can see the drugs coming and catch it. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what a see-through wall is. But at this point, I'm just worried that a contractor is going to come along and trick the president. He's going to take him to the border and be like, there it is, Mr. Trump. Your invisible wall. And then just to make sure he buys it, he's going to hire a troop of Mexican mimes just to be like, oh my God, you can't get through it. It works. Like the mind of Donald Trump. Oh, the other idea he had for the wall was he said America should build the wall out of solar panels. That's what he said. He said America should build the wall out of solar panels because that way the wall would generate electricity and pay for itself. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie. That's a good idea, right? It's a good idea. Unless you know anything about solar panels or the sun or walls. Because the problem with that idea is that the sun is up, yeah? We all agree on that? We're still on the same page there, yeah? The sun is up, right? A solar panel wall is not going to work because a wall is like this. So technically it's facing down. So unless you have like a really swaggy sun that's like, yeah, I shine real low, B, it's not going to work for you. The only way it works is if you take your border solar panel and lean it at an angle to get the sun's rays. But if you do that, now you've just created a giant ramp for Mexicans to shoot into America. It's like, órale! The mind of Donald J. Trump. The J stands for